All right, I think I'm being done here, so I'm gonna go back to the beginning. All right, so problem of the day: subtract 4y to both sides. 2y equal 8. Divide by 2, get y equal 4. Students will use the length and midpoint of a segment to solve problems. So here we go. That's our objective. So the coordinate is a point, so I circled those A, B, and C there, and the distance is just how far something is there. So if you count from A all the way over to B, that's 10, right? Or vice versa. But the shortcut way, or the way to do it in case you don't have an easy number line to count, you just take -7 and subtract 3, right, on the B. Or you could take 3 on wherever B is 3 and take, say, minus -7, and you would work it out. I did -7 minus 3, and you're going to get -10, but you're going to get the absolute value. And absolute value is positive 10, because absolute value means distance. All right, it means actually how far something is in distance. So distance is always positive units. So the length or distance or measure, you see, those are all synonymous, means they mean the same between 2 points. So the length is the same as the distance or measure between 2 points. Congruent segments have the same length. So in other words, their measurements are the same. And we won't talk about construction in this lesson. So point F is said to be between points E and G if it is on the same line of the segment as points E and G are the endpoints. So there's your drawing to show F is between them. So F could be sliding around anywhere between E and G there. Midpoint means it's a point that cuts it in half. So if you look, the AM means segment AM, but it doesn't mean the segment only, it means the measurement of. So you actually read that the measurement of AM is equal to the measurement of MB, because you don't see the little line segment. Because if it just says the line segment, you're not talking about the length, you're just talking about the actual segment. Here you're talking about the length. So the little tick marks mean the measurements are equal. To bisect means to divide into two congruent segments. So point M and line T, of course, line T bisects it at the midpoint, but it cuts it in half. So that's a bisect. It means it bisects it. Now, segment bisectors are rays, segments, or lines that intersect at the midpoint. The midpoint isn't called a segment bisector because it's not a segment, it's just a point. But it does actually bisect it. So line T is the segment bisector in this case. All right, so from A to C is the full length. I had a previous thing on there that I drew on there earlier, but if you look AB, the measure of AB, if you add it to the measure of BC, it's logically going to be equal to the measure of AC. And you can kind of look on the number line. From A to B, you get that, and then from B to C, you have a certain amount, and then you add them both together, you get the full length. So that's called the segment addition. So let's look at that. So here was what we got. AB is giving us 4x plus 8. BC is 15 units. And it says the AC is 43. There's a little kind of a sketchy drawing there, but kind of did that last second. So now when we work it out, we just rewrite. We substitute the numbers in and we rewrite the equation. So 4x plus 8 plus 15 equal to 43. And then now we can just solve. You get x equal 5. And if you want to check, plug in 5 for x, you get 4 times 5 is 20. Add the 8. 28, 28, and 15 is 43. Just plug it in. So we're solved. But in this case, it just solved for x. In this case, the problem says point M is the midpoint, and also AM is 3V, so it's labeled on the segment, and MB is 2V plus 4, it's labeled. And you just set them equal because it says it's on the midpoint. So you set them equal and you solve. And then and once the value of AM, so you're going to plug in 4. So you get 4 for V's, you're going to plug in 4. Where it says 3V, 3 times 4 is 12, AM is 4. And if you want to double check the other side, actually, it doesn't want all three sides. So MB is going to be 2 times 4 plus 4, which is 12. And then the whole length AC is going to be 12 plus 12. So that's the explanation. There's your quiz. And